A country so full of pride in its progress and growth with dreams to guide. India, a country so beautiful and free, a land of dreams and hopes for you and me. Thank you.
पूछो जमाने से कि हमारी क्या कहानी है, ना पूछो जमाने से कि हमारी क्या कहानी है। हमारी पहचान तो इतनी है कि हम हिंदुस्तानी हैं। हमारी पहचान तो इतनी है कि हम हिंदुस्तानी हैं। धन्यवाद।
My hobbies are reading and writing calligraphy. I also like to participate in all kinds of extracurricular activities like debating, elocution, quizzes, and also anchoring.
Hobbies are drawing and painting. I specifically like to draw Indian art like Madhubani, Wadli, cones, etc. I also love to draw abstract paintings of different gods and goddesses. Here are some of the paintings that I've done.
My hobby is listening music. I like doing maths and I also sketch occasionally. These are some of my sketches.
My hobbies are to listen to music, read books, and know about theories made by philosophers. I am also interested in knowing about astronomy and psychology also.
My hobby is to listen music, sing, read books, and composing short poems. And here is one of my composition.
My hobbies are reading books, teaching, playing football, and quizzing. I have also participated in many quizzing competitions. My passion is to be in armed forces, and these are some glimpses of the books which I read.
My favorite book is King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. My favorite character is Merlin the Magician, who reminds me very much of Birbal. The story has various adaptations and versions in all kinds of movies, plays, and musicals. My favorite part of the book would be the journey of finding Excalibur with the help of the Lady of the Lake.
My favorite book is the biography of APJ Abdul Kalam, The Wings of Fire. This book teaches us about how no matter what circumstances come into our life, we should keep learning, giving our 100%, with full of our dedication to our work, and achieve what we want to achieve in our life.
My favorite book is The Blue Umbrella, written by Ruskin Bond, which is set in Himachal Pradesh and tells the story of the turmoil caused by a blue umbrella bought by Biniya, a village girl, from a Japanese tourist in return of her Lucky Charm necklace.
My favorite book is The Alchemist. The book shows that the journey to your destiny is as important as the destiny itself, and dreams are meant to be followed. I love that the book emphasizes on the importance of faith, hope, and spirituality through a story of an ordinary boy.
My favorite book is the autobiography of Mr. Vishwas Nagre Patil. He is currently serving as the Deputy General in Anti-Corruption Bureau. This book tells us that we should never stop fighting even in the adverse situations, which is highlighted in the book when Vishwas Nagre Patil was serving for the nation during the attack of 26/11.
My favorite book that I read is Ikigai. It has 4 rules: your passion, your mission, your profession, and your vocation. In this book, it tells us about Japanese people and our way of living our life. It helps us increase our mentality and our self-confidence also. This book gives us a reference on how to live a great and the best life.
जय धारी माँ, भारत माता की जय। आप सबको स्वतंत्रता दिवस की हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं। आइए हमारे साथ जुड़िए, हमारे बच्चों को प्यार दीजिए और उनका हौसला बढ़ाइए। मम्मी, टुडे वी हैव पुणे फॉर यू। आम्ही पुणेकर आहे, आम्ही पुणेकर आहे. We are all Punekars today, sitting here.
Yeah,
Indians and Punekars, है ना?
it's your city. That's why you're very happy.
Yes. And they are from Dehu Road, Kendriya Vidyalaya, very near Alandi also, and the Indrayani River, which is very, very sacred for our city, our state of Maharashtra. And Amita Kumari ma'am has helped us to coordinate this program. Ji, Mami.
Good. Very nice. We owe this session to Apurva Kumari, who's from our book reading session 115. This child, Apurva Kumari, mother, Amita Kumari, she connected with Shivani, who's Shivani Arora, who's working on the backstage for this PRS group, part of the tech team, research team. She was Amita Kumari connected with Shivani, and the child name is Apurva Kumari. So we want to begin with gratitude to them. I'm happy that now the PRS group children have started doing a reference. When they see something, it's like seeing a good movie. Say, ये book जरूर पढ़ना, ये movie जरूर देखना, ये जगह देखना. This is lovely. So I'm so happy that our children are now doing a referral to spread the benefits which they may have got. So thank you, Apurva, and thank you, your mummy, Amita Kumari. So let's begin. I like your hobbies. Thank you. I like your hobbies. I like the selection of your books. Hello, everybody. इतने डरे डरे क्यों लग रहे हो? हाँ, डरे डरे क्यों लग रहे हो? हाँ, अब खुश खुश भी खुशी दिख रहा है. Oh, don't be serious. This is a very relaxed program where we all enjoy listening to each other, having fun. Joey, you can also be a little less serious. Joey, can I see your smile on your face? Joey,
सारी smile करो.
Joey, can I see a smile? Yes.
Yes,
Good.
ma'am.
I want to see the smile on your face. This session is to see smile on the children and get energized ourselves. Because when you deal with work with children, and it's a children's smile which is the real purest form of energy, called divine energy. Now you know why we do the book reading program? To get divine energy from all of you. See that? You understand, Anushka, and Kush, and Vaishnavi, and Ashita, Arushi, and Joy? You've got lovely hobbies. All of you have hobbies, and you're selecting books so well. I'm so happy. And you asked some very nice questions, which we'll come to. Anything you'd like to say? And this is a Pune city of Saina. So Saina is very happy that she got her own city, and you got your school called the Kendriya. What is the school called? Kendriya Vidyalaya, right?
Kendriya Vidyalaya, Dehu. Dehu is a place near. Yes, it's in.
I think you can do something interesting. All book reading children of Pune can once in a while meet you. You can form a Pune group.
Yes.
Saina?
Yes.
So that these children meet. You can do that. You can have the
Yes.
meeting in person. You can meet in the lawn. You can
Yes.
meet in the compound. You can have fun. You can play with each other. You can play very interesting game. You can play in your compound which you have, Saina.
Yes.
Yeah.
They can also be a part of Apna Maharashtra, the program.
They can be
Yes.
part of the Apna Maharashtra. She's starting a very new program called Apna Maharashtra.
Yes, the Demonstrative Learning and Lexicon Group have collaborated, and we've started a program called Apna Maharashtra. Maharashtra has given us so much of love.
So
Anna?
you can have all the PRS group. You can collect the data from Sujata or Shakira and get it done and sort it out of all the Pune group, the Maharashtra group. But at least begin with Pune since you are in person there.
Yes.
Okay, Julie, what would you like to say today? And I want to see the smile back on your face. Don't look so serious.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Good
What would you
evening,
like to
ma'am.
say on this day?
Ma'am, happy Independence Day, first of all.
Happy Independence Day.
My name is Zui Nangaukar. I am from School Kendriya Vidyalaya number 1 Dev Road. I study in grade 11th science, and I am very grateful to have this opportunity to meet you here live. Thank you.
Arushi, were you girls selected by your teacher? Amita, did Amita select you all or school selected you all? Arushi?
Good evening, ma'am, and first of all, happy Independence Day. Ma'am, actually, ma'am asked us, Amita ma'am, if we wanted to participate, and we thought that it would be a great opportunity to meet with you and talk with you. So, I'm thankful for it.
Lovely. Arishta, how did you come? Were you selected? Were you offered? What happened?
Good evening, ma'am. First of all, ma'am, happy Independence Day. Ma'am, currently Amita ma'am is our class teacher. So she approached us and asked us if we wanted to participate, and all of us are extremely and very much honored to be here and talk with and have the opportunity to talk with you. And that's why we all were very enthusiastic about participating.
Good. Now you can meet Saina in person also, becoming a Pune group. Lovely.
Very welcome. We'll all get together.
And Vaishnavi, how did you? The teacher also asked you to, and you all volunteered?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am, and happy Independence Day to you. Yes, Amita ma'am asked us, like, approached us if we want to join this session, and we are very grateful to talk to you. Like, we have only read about you in books and in we have just read it on internet, but to see you in person, like on online platform, is very grateful. Thank you.
And Kush, are you part of the class? Kush? Kush, why are you looking so serious? I think Kush's internet is not functioning. Kush cannot hear me. We can check. Sujata may check. Okay. Anushka? Anushka? She's
Hare
also.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, a very happy Independence Day to you, ma'am. Actually, ma'am, all of us belong to the same class, Zoe, me, Kush, Vaishnavi, and Arshita. So, ma'am, all of us were approached by Amita, ma'am, our class teacher, together. So, ma'am, and all of us were very much interested in having a conversation with you, as we've all read about you only. And this was a very good opportunity to have us on this stage and meet you or talk to you on live. So, ma'am, we are very grateful to her for this opportunity, as well as grateful to you to give this time to us. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Kush, how did you get selected? Switch on your mic, Kush, and answer.
internet
I think the internet is slow.
आ
Okay,
जाएगा
we'll come back to Kush as the internet normalizes. So, how did you celebrate this? Did you hear the Prime Minister's speech? Did you
Good
watch the
evening,
Red
ma'am.
Fort?
First of all, a very happy Independence Day to all of you.
Keep the mic on, Kush. Okay, did you
internet
hear the Prime Minister's speech? Did you see the Red Fort
Sorry, ma'am,
program?
there was a network issue. I'll introduce again. Ma'am, good evening, and yeah, ma'am.
Why is this
And
technical?
very happy Independence Day to all of you. Amita ma'am, our class teacher approached us that if we want to participate in this session, and I am very grateful to have have a session with a board personality, Kiran Bedi ma'am, and on this special day, happy Independence Day once again.
Thank you, Kush. Thank you. At least you heard us and we've seen you. I'm glad Kush could participate. Did you all hear the Red Fort speech of the Prime Minister? Jui?
Ma'am, I read it on internet.
You didn't see the parade?
No, ma'am.
What about you, Arushi?
No, ma'am.
Harshda?
Ma'am, I saw all the notes, all the topics that were being covered by the PM, but I couldn't see it live. That's why.
Vaishnavi?
Yes, ma'am. I heard the news on television.
Did you see the program live or did you hear it later?
No, ma'am. Live. I saw it live.
Live.
7:15.
Kush, did you see the program live or did you hear it?
Ma'am, I heard about it on the internet. I read the article.
Acha. And Anushka?
Ma'am, I saw it live on the television in the morning itself.
I'm happy that two of you saw it live. I would suggest
Yes,
always
ma'am.
watch some programs live if you can. And now that you missed the live program, I'm sure it'll be on YouTube. You can go to Doordarshan, go to the YouTube and click on the way it was. It'll be good if you hear it because it's linked with your future. What the Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister talked about is your present and your future. So it will be good if you hear the present and the future. And it will be part of your general knowledge. You never know what's going to come in your examinations, in your essays, in your interviews as you grow. You understand? And whenever you have such live programs, national programs like the Republic Day, even yesterday the president spoke, but the unfurling of the flag and standing up at 7:45 when the flag was unfurled by the Honorable Prime Minister and singing the national anthem with it is surreal. It is really surreal. It is very, very uh, emotional and also really heart-rending, isn't it? Good. Now, what else would you like to ask me? Joey, should we go to the question answer straight away? Saina?
Gee, we can.
Okay.
But would they
Okay,
like
Joey, your question. Joey, your question.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, my question is what is the toughest decision you have taken in your life and how did you handle the fear or self doubt while taking that decision?
When I read your question, because I got the questions before the program, and when you asked me this question, I started to uh, travel through my memory lane and to find out which were the toughest decisions I took. And I could not narrow down on any one single tough decision. But there's one decision which was totally life threatening for me and my colleagues was when we had a riot situation in Delhi. We had a communal riot in Delhi in 1987-88 time. And I was then in charge of that district as the Deputy Commissioner of Police of North Delhi. And it was a riot between two factions. One came on a chariot and they wanted to drive towards a particular session. The other was opposing and wanting to block the chariot from coming. So there were two sections of communities, one wanting to drive towards a particular destination, the others blocking it from coming to that destination. And we in the police was in the center of that, totally center of the decision, center between the two warring factors. And both warring groups were very empowered. They were very powerful people. They were at the helm of leadership in all kinds of situations. I'm not mentioning any names of people because that's not my intention. But they were all both very powerful and also armed. They were armed with stones, sticks. Some of them were even having weapons, and they were on the rooftops. They were on the rooftops of the place. I'm not even trying to mention exact location, but they were also the rooftops. And they also had acid bottles at the rooftops. And I was in charge of that area. And at that time, I was made responsible for because it was my district charge. But I had very good team of officers who were also had tear gas shells with them. They had also weapons. Now we tried our level best from one group to ride over the other group and break a barrier. And what I tried to do, we did it as a strategy. That as the first barrier, we had women cops. All women cops were in the first barrier. First barrier. We were wondering whether that group will come and try and threaten and ride over the women cops. Because so every time I noticed, they would come near the barrier. They saw women cops, they went back. Every time they came, a second time, they went back. Then the third time, what they did was they didn't ride over the women cops. They had stones in their tractor or on the weapon. So what they started to do was pellet stones at us. They started to throw stones over all of us, all cops, all of us. So we started to get pelted, right? And because of the pelting on the stones, women cops also got hurt. because of the pelting. They did not ride over them, but they started to pelt stones. And because of the pelting of the stones, the barricades started to loosen. And now what they tried to do was now make their way through. But because of the stones could reach the other side also. The other side also started to throw stones and also to do all kinds of violence. So now the question is, what do you do? And we were caught right in the center. And then at some stage, because of the mayhem and the spread of the people, these people could make their way through. And there was now a confrontation. And as in charge, it was very threatening because we had on the rooftops on these all these acid bottles and all the weaponry, which is also by the young people who had climbed on the rooftops. And on the other hand, we had very heavy boulders, stones being thrown at us. That's the time when I opened fire, and now to save life and injury further. That was an immediate decision. And I myself was also, and many of my cops were totally out in the open. So we had no cover, particularly from acid bottles, not as much from weapons, because when they were through acid bottles, it would burn us up, right? It would injure all of us on our heads, etc. So that's the time when I do remember I had a very narrow escape while ordering fire and firing myself. Was a little shade at the shop. There was a little shade at the shop. The shops always have a little shade outside them. I was standing right outside under the shade, and I remember acid bottles falling on my feet. So that means they got deflected. It got deflected, and some of them falling on my feet, but on my head nothing fell. But meanwhile, since I'd ordered fire, there was a lot of firing both sides to save and to disperse the people. It was not an ordinary decision, and at that time I did not know what would be the end of the day. But I was a leader of the team, and I had to open fire myself. And some of my very senior colleagues also opened fire. We were not afraid if somebody dies in this and that any inquiries are ordered after that. Because as you know, if there's injury in the firing, etc., there's always a judicial inquiry or a magisterial inquiry or a senior inquiry or a department inquiry. And it finds you are under very heavy scrutiny. Who did what? And as a senior, you have to take charge of the situation because you can't say he did it, I did not know. So I think it was divine grace that we survived. It was a tough decision to open fire, to totally avoid a riot between two warring sections. So in policing, I don't know whether this was one of the tough decisions I took, but I took this decision. Come what may, life of all are important, including my men, including the men I was leading, while I was vulnerable at that time. I think it worked. So one of the very tough decisions I recalled from my law and order times. Of course, one takes decisions personally, professionally, uh, uh, in various situations. But this is one of the tough decisions I remember. I thought I shared this with you. Okay, Julie? Would you
Yes,
like
ma'am.
to be? Would you like to be a police officer, Julie?
I don't.
After this story I told you. Okay, Arushi, your question.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, my question to you would be, what would be your opinion on becoming a better person or doing the best in your life?
Since it's a question which some of you can also contribute to answer, while I can answer myself also later, let me see what others think. How can you become better persons as children, as youth now? How can you make an effort to become better persons? Can you answer and contribute to the answer raised by Arshita?
Ma'am, according to me, the definition of a better person would be to become the best version of yourself every day and to improve yourself from within. So that's what I think that as many people say that every change in the world starts from within. So I think the first step we should take is to make changes in ourselves, small changes, not very big changes, but small changes can also lead to a very big change in our personality over a period of time. And if we change, and if we begin to change ourselves, eventually we would start to impact the surrounding people who lived with us, talk with us, even at school, any other place. So I think the first step you would need to take is to make changes in yourself.
Okay, let's see what Anushka says.
Ma'am, for me, being a better person would mean, ma'am, whatever we are doing in our life or on the daily basis, ma'am, it should not feel like a chore. Like even if we talk about studying, ma'am, it should be something that we love doing. Like as the thought says that do what you love and love what you do. So, ma'am, I feel like whatever you do daily, it shouldn't feel like a chore. And, ma'am, there are days when it feels like that, and there are days when we dread some very important tasks in our life. But, ma'am, some tasks like studying or any other activity which you know would lead you to a better future should not be like a chore to you or something that you dread, but something that you love doing every day.
That is what you how you can do your work better. What Arshita answered is, how do you become a better person? See, what Anushka said very beautifully, that nothing should look like a monotony or a boring. You should love doing what you do. That's becoming a better person. But now we're talking about how can you become better persons as human beings. You may not study. You may not study. You may not have a duty to do. How can you become a better person? Kush, what do you answer?
Ma'am, according to me, in usual life, not only studies, but we should try to bring a change or a happiness in everybody's life by making them feeling good and being and uh, showing equality towards everybody. So we can just bring a change or in our behavior so that we can make happy to anybody.
Acha. So one is spreading happiness, right? Spreading happiness, right? Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any other question? Any other quality? Vaishnavi, how can you become better person?
Yes, ma'am, we can also start with self love. Like, we should accept ourselves as we are and not like judging others and not even ourselves, and try to be the better version of ourselves and respecting every life
That,
around us.
Julie, any other answer, Julie?
Yes, ma'am. We can be better person by thinking about the people around us. If as humans are social animals, we should think about people around us. If we make them happy, we will feel good.
Okay, note down the points I'll give you. Note down the points. You got a paper and pencil? Got a paper and a pencil? Or if you don't have, are you ready to read and write? Or how do you write? Listen to me. No,
Yes, ma'am.
listening is fine. Writing, first is being kind and compassionate. Be kind and compassionate will make you better persons. Be kind and compassionate. Kind and compassionate means a whole lot of behavioral options, because you cannot be rude and kind, and you cannot be selfish and kind and compassionate. So, kind and compassionate. Secondly, you cannot be dishonest and untrustworthy. You got to be a good person, is trustworthy and is honest. That means if somebody's told you something and he says, don't tell anybody, and if it's important, you will keep it yourself. Trustworthy. If he's given you something to keep, you keep it trust and don't steal it away. So trust basically means being trustworthy of your words, the promises you make. Supposing you tell your mom, dad, I will do this and I will honor this, you will remain worthy, trustworthy. They should believe you that Kush has said this, Kush apna word nibhayega. Yeah, being trustworthy, right? Third is being responsible and accountable. If your parents or you have been given certain tasks in the school by your teacher, you are remaining accountable and you're responsible. You understand that? Next point, being grateful. How grateful are you to your parents or to your school? So being grateful. So how can you be better persons? Honesty, responsible and accountable, gratitude, and being very, very positive and optimistic. So वो कह रहे ये नहीं हो सकता, ये नहीं हो सकता है, मैं देखता हूँ कैसे कर सकते हैं. So it's not rejecting any good idea, listening to people, being optimistic, not being negative. ये नहीं हो सकता, or let us see ये कैसे हो सकता है. So being optimistic and positive. Then being helpful and generous, being helpful at home, helpful to your friends, as a good citizen, generous. If you have something to share and give, you will share. Are you writing down? Are you all writing down? Generous, being generous. Okay. Then being respectful, as I already said, being respectful to the towards anybody and everybody, not only to the high and mighty, the rich and the wealthy, but being respectful for towards all sections of society. Being respectful, right? And then being a lifelong learner. Lifelong learner. You are a lifelong learner. You are constantly willing to learn, constantly lifelong. You're constantly learning, willing to learn. Just as that's the read and book reading session begins with the books, because that makes you learn. Book reading makes you learn, and once you have a habit of book reading, it's lifelong learning. You understand? Lifelong learning. And last but not the least is being very self-aware. That is what will make you a good person. Being self-aware. You can listen to yourself, you see yourself, you know yourself, right? And look at your own behavior, your language, your mannerisms, your way of spending. Being self-aware. What are your habits? What are your thinking? That's being good persons. Understand that? These are some of my suggestions I thought I'd share. So what have you got? Jui, what have you picked up?
Ma'am, being kind and compassionate, not being dishonest, being positive, self aware, and be respectful to
Which is the one you will
everyone.
take home? Which is the one you immediately impacts you and you'll start following from day on, now on?
Being respectful for everyone.
Arushi, what is the takeaway? What is that one habit you will take home saying, I've learned it today, I felt like to be better?
Ma'am,
It's
being
your
a
question. See, I've got you all the answers now. Arushi?
ma'am, I would take about being a long life learner.
Huh?
Ma'am, being a long life learner would help me
Lifelong
a
learner.
lot.
Lifelong learner. Good, good. Ashita, yours? What will you take away? You said it all right. I've only given you points.
Ma'am, the thing I would take away and implement immediately, I think, would be being grateful, because we should be grateful for every little thing in our life that we get and consider it as an opportunity given to us by God. And so we should be grateful for everything that we have in life.
Okay. Anushka, what is that one thing which you think it will help you?
Ma'am, one thing that I would take away is being optimistic, because ma'am, I most of the time find myself finding negative things out of any opportunity of what would go wrong. So ma'am, the one thing that I would like to take away is being optimistic about things.
Very good. And you're being very honest. See how honest you are? You're not afraid to share it once we keep that I was earlier always thinking negative. What I'll take away is an attitude of positivity. Yes? You will start looking at why can't I do it? If it's a good idea, let me think about it. Or I don't agree with it, I respectfully saying I have another viewpoint. Your point may be right, but here's another viewpoint. Kush, what is your takeaway? What would you take that one quality with you which you realize you could have to become a better person?
Ma'am, being responsible in the daily life.
Very good. And a boy, if that's the sense you get, being responsible will take you to the armed forces as you want. You want to join the armed forces, right? And if you inculcate that
Sure.
quality of being
Yeah, ma'am.
responsible,
Sure.
It will go a long way. Yes? And Vaishnavi, what will you take? Vaishnavi's
Yes, ma'am.
internet is Vaishnavi's internet is gone.
Vaishnavi, Vita,
No, bete, I see her. Vaishnavi, can you see? Can you talk? No,
about
she can't. Okay, let's go to the
Helpful
next
to
question. Vaishnavi, can you hear? They lost the signal. Okay, let's go to Arushi's question. Arushi's question I've answered. Ashita,
Ma'am, my question
Ashita,
for
your
you.
question.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, my question for you is if you could rewind your life and become a teenager again, would you choose the same path where you stand today, or would you like to take a detour and give your time to a different hobby of yours? Like just like I read about you in an article, you like to play tennis and you won several awards. So would you like to give time to another hobby of yours and make it grow?
So if I would be a teenager again, what would the changes or what would I choose as a lifestyle?
no, she's asking you if you were a teenager, would you like to choose a different path and pursue a different career, you know, or a
Well,
different life?
career I would have preferred to be the same. Career I would be the same. But they can see it's very easy to say now that I'm past my career, experienced a lot of things in my life, I can make a choice. But as a teenager, it would have made no sense. What I'm going to say now, it would have made no sense. I would have said this is idealistic. It would have made no sense. Now, when you asked me this question, I looked at myself and I started to wonder. Remember Swami Yogananda ji, the the autography of a what is the name of the book? Autography
Yogi,
of a yogi.
autobiography of a yogi.
Autography, biography, the autobiography of a yogi, right? Why did he choose any? He left anything else and moved over towards spiritual life so early. Why? Why did he not go to school, college, and work and take up a profession? Why? I think certain things you're born with, some sanskaras you're born with. And Swami Yogananda ji, whose biography called, do read his book, autobiography of a yogi. It's called the autobiography of a yogi. Do read this book. Sometimes you're born with certain sanskaras to live a certain lifestyle. I think I was born with it when to lead this kind of life. One thing led to the other, which took me to the Indian Police Service. It did move. But having lived my life for so long now, would I have chosen something else? I would say yes. And you know what? I would probably chosen the spiritual path. Why? I would have chosen the spiritual path while at work. So it's different from Swami Yogananda ji. Swami Yogananda ji gave up his parents, gave up all his life, and moved over to entirely spiritual life. I could have chosen or would have chosen, but where is the knowledge? Where is the anticipation that this is how can be another way of life as another option? That's why some people move into spiritual life, some youth, very early on. Very early on. Like many girls go to the Brahma Kumaris. Many girls go to the Brahma Kumaris. Many young boys, very young boys, become monks, the Buddhist monks. They join the Buddhist monks. And they totally dedicate their lives to a spiritual life. I probably would have chosen somewhere in the middle, at the middle path. And the middle path would have been I become a spiritual life in my uniform and to completely remain spiritual and belong and then dedicate myself to the larger community giving. That would have been my lifestyle. So if I were to relive my life, if at that time I probably had to have these sanskaras, because these sanskaras were not there. Sanskaras should have already also taken me towards spiritual life. It did not. It did not. It took me towards a normal life. But this kind of wisdom and this light dawning on you is also spiritual gift. So if I would now look back, I would say I would probably dedicate my life while in uniform to larger community giving. But it's so easy to say now, because as a youth, what you're looking for is a normal life. You're looking for work life, you're looking for a professional life, you're looking for status, you're looking for a home, you're looking for a normal friendships, etc. It changes your way. But if I were to be having that wisdom at that time, I would have probably chosen work life with spiritual living, not the ordinary domestic way of living. That is the way I would be. Why? Because I thought in the ultimate end, we are all moving towards that. And because we are moving towards that, why not begin with it earlier rather than now? Why have lost this time to go rather not start it early? And if you start early, there's bliss all your life along. There's total bliss, because there's total bliss in gratitude and there's total bliss in giving. And with such a spiritual life, it's all about giving and gratitude. Nothing else. There's nothing else for yourself. But everything, all joy, and it's called the Sangha. You become a part of the larger spiritual community. That is why many youngsters have joined Isha Yoga, or they've joined the Art of Living, or many youngsters have joined the Brahma Kumaris, or many youngsters have joined the Buddhist monks, and or other, or they become, they dedicate themselves to a particular faith they like. It's up to them. It all depends when it strikes you, when that feeling. So if you ask me a good question, you made me reflect. And my reflection is, if I were to be choose, but I had the sense of it, I would have chosen work with spiritual life, spiritual living. Spiritual in all forms, all forms. All right, next question. Anushka, your question.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, as a student who is also aspiring to crack UPSC, ma'am, and as a UPSC aspirant who has researched about UPSC, I feel like, ma'am, it is more of a elimination process rather than a selection one, and a very risky exam. So, ma'am, should we have a safer option, a plan B? Because, ma'am, sometimes when I think about plan B, it feels like I'm dividing my focus into two things, and I'm underconfident about me being in this field. Or, ma'am, sometimes it feels like it is necessary for me to be financially independent, or in general independent at that time. So, ma'am, I would like to hear your opinion on this.
My answer to this was, while you prepare for the UPSC, you need to go into it with a professional degree. A professional degree. So that you pass, that professional degree you take along, it will help you. But if you don't pass by one chance, you have a professional degree to start practicing, or start teaching, or start doing a business, or start to engineering, whatever you want, medical profession, engineering, designing, corporate world, management, administration, enterprising, or join your parents' business. So it all depends. It's a good thing to have two things going parallel. And if you start studying from now on, can be a very smooth preparation on both the lines. One hand, your subjects will be chosen accordingly, but it will also take you towards a professional degree where you don't lose time. You pass, you walk into the civil services. You don't pass, you get to working, and you're financially independent. And the time to start for the UPSC is already done with your school books. NCRT school books and general awareness is actually the preparation for the UPSC, and your book readings. Okay? All right. Kush, your question?
Thank you, ma'am.
Kush, your question? I think he's having problems with the internet. Vaishnavi, are you with me? What's your question?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, so as you have read so many books of different different genres of different authors throughout your lifespan. So I wanted to ask, how do you keep track of your book reading? Like, do you maintain any journal or anything?
I don't do a physical tracking, but if you're asking me, you can. You as youngsters can. You can maintain a journal. You can maintain an Excel sheet. You can make a data recording of the books you want to read for the month, how much you read, like you flag the pages of the books you like, or you page underline. So I think I don't maintain a journal, but you can. It would be a good idea for you to begin like this. Maintain a journal of the books you're reading. It's a great idea as you grow, which are the books you read, because it will also show you where did you get these are probably sources of energy. Like I've read many spiritual books, but they're all in my library, but I don't have a journal. Mine are visible in the library, the books I've read. Those books I've read partially or fully or not books, but they're part of my library. Almost becomes a journal, because that's your books you can go back to. But if you wish to maintain a record, then you can maintain. I believe there are applications, there's some apps also on book reading which can help you track your book reading. So you can try the app, you can maintain your own journal, you can do your own Excel sheet, you can make your own notes. Okay, Ashwini? You can do any one of those. But I believe there is an app called the book reading tracking app. You can try that. Ashita, your question?
Ma'am, I
Harshita's
asked.
asked. She's asked. Yes.
Kush, are you back?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what's your question?
Ma'am, you were the first woman IPS of your time. So during your training, do you face any discrimination? Likewise, Gunjan Saxena, the first woman to join Air Force, faced. And what urged you to face this situation?
Well, in my case, well, Gunjun also was in the first Saxena, was the Air Force officer. She faced it, and that's where the movie reveals to you. The movie, which has been played by a particular very interesting actress. But when I started the service, I was asked if I needed discriminatory training. Could it be less harsh? Could it be less physically strenuous? And they did not have a plan for women in the Indian police service, because they had not had women before in the Indian police service as a batch. So I was asked by the Ustad and the director, would I need, do I need, will I require less arduous physical training? So I had an option. I could have said, yes, I need something, some time to pick up. So you can be a little less harsh on me, and as I pick up, you can make it. But in my case, I did not ask for any discrimination. And I told them to give me the same training and treat me in the same way as they would be treating my male colleagues. And what has happened for future is that future officers who came are only following equal training now, because no discrimination was started with me. Had I started for relaxation or different form of training, they could have done it. And maybe that would have probably become the pattern, but it did not. So what other girls are doing who are not sports background, they are given some time and they take some time to pick up. And in the end, they all pass equally without any discrimination in any form of training. Push. And I believe this is the same. I do not know what is in the armed forces, so I have no experience of that. The other discrimination which you say is the attitude of the men, how they feel having a female colleague. In my case, it was very positive. My male colleagues were very appreciative of what, and that because the reason was I probably gave no reason to them to pass any remarks or snide remarks. And third is, policing is a little different from the armed forces. I have no idea of inside culture of the armed forces. But they are experimenting a lot now because many women have joined at the higher ranks now. So time alone will tell. But one movie has spoken about, if it is substantiated, it's true, because it's a movie is a movie. I cannot say what is. I cannot verify it. I cannot trust it or not trust it. But it's a movie. But in that case, yes, movie clearly remarks, observes how she was discriminated when she wanted to leave or there was something else. But in my case, I had no discrimination because maybe for whatever reasons, I know the credit goes to the organization. Gunjan's story is quite stated to be close to reality. Something in movies also do get exaggerated. Okay? Okay, Kush. Now, what's your question? Last question. Whose question was it? Are we done?
जी
Okay, would you like to sum up, Saina? We have got a few minutes to sum up.
बच्चों, स्मॉल पॉइंट्स, इनके बारे में सोचना है। ये मेरे मन में आ रही बातें आपके लिए। आपने आपने चंदन देखा है? सैंडलवुड? यू नो व्हाट सैंडलवुड इज? क्या करता है? खुशबू देता है।
Yes.
एक दिया, दीपक का स्वभाव क्या होता है? रोशनी देता है। वैसे बनना है। आपके अंदर क्या क्या है जो समय के उतार चढ़ाव के साथ नहीं बदलेगा? आपके असूल क्या हैं? What all do you have inside you which will not change with the outside change? You have to make your inner being like that. What is it that you have that life can't take away from you? दुख सुख में, उतार चढ़ाव में, धूप छांव में आपके पास ऐसी कौन सी चीजें हैं जो समय नहीं छीन सकता, जो वक्त आपसे नहीं ले सकता, जो जिंदगी की ड्युअलिटीज आपसे नहीं ले सकती? आपका चरित्र, आपका करेज, आपकी समझ शक्ति, आपकी सहन शक्ति, आपका सब्र, आपकी स्किल्स, आपके संस्कार, आपकी शिक्षा, आपकी भक्ति, आपका विश्वास, इन चीजों पे ध्यान लगाओ, क्योंकि जिंदगी के उतार चढ़ाव इन चीजों को आपसे नहीं ले पाएंगे। अपने व्यक्तित्व को, अपने असूलों को उस प्रकार का बनाओ। आपकी रोज की जिंदगी, आपकी जो रोज की जिंदगी है वो बहुत जरूरी है। खूब सक्सेसफुल बनो, खूब बड़े बनो, खूब कमाओ, लेकिन अपनी जड़ों से जुड़े रहो, वहां से दूर नहीं होना है। जो जीवन में बाहर जाके पाना है पाओ, मेहनत करो, कामयाब बनो, लेकिन भागना किसके पीछे है? सरलता, सच्चाई, सादगी, इनको नहीं छोड़ना। अपनी जड़ों से दूर नहीं जाना।
Okay, Saina?
ये दो बातें मन में लेकर आगे बढ़ो।
Okay. Victor, just final one round up of your takeaway of today. Anything you want to say, Jui? Quickly, all six of you, turn by turn. A minute each.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, it was great meeting you. I learned so much today. And once again, happy Independence Day.
Arushi?
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, thank you so much for taking your time and talking with us. I actually learned a lot about you more and a lot about things that you said, and I will definitely implement it in my life. Thank you so much.
Kush?
Thank you very much, ma'am, for giving your precious time. Definitely, I have learned many things from all of them. But the main thing which I want to implement in my life is that if we have desire, passion, so no one can stop us from going towards our goal. Thank you very much.
Good. Vaishnavi?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for the session, and I'm pretty sure that after this session, I'll definitely become a good person
A
with
better person all the time.
your learnings and your blessings.
Arshita?
Just as expected, the session was very nice. Talking with you is a very big opportunity that many people don't get. So we're very honored for this opportunity. Ma'am, hearing the stories of your life also makes us very courageous and motivates us to do more in our life. So thank you for listening to us and answering our questions. And we'll make sure to implement every single thing you've said in our lives.
Thank you, Arshita. And Anushka?
Ma'am, one of my very important questions, or like a question I was wondering upon since many days, and I wanted to ask somebody which was experienced in this field. So, ma'am, thank you so much for answering that question. And, ma'am, one thing that you told us about being a better person, that is being optimistic, is the biggest takeaway I would take out of this BRS session. Thank you so much, ma'am.
I'm sure Shakira has already told you you're a part of the PRS group now, the PRS family, and that you will get morning nutrition from Shivani. You will receive a morning nutrition message every morning from Shivani. She told you. So you'll be part of you are a group 123, right? Good sign. Yeah. So you're a group 123. That's your identity. And I'm sure one day Saina could get all the Punaites together one day for one session. It'll be great. And she can organize an activity. It'll be great fun to see that happen. Because that'll be now ground reading, not book reading, ground reading. You can all get together and play. I really look forward to. I want to say thank you once again to that Apurva Kumari who brought you all together. Your school, Kendriya Vidyalaya, Pune, I'm very grateful to the entire school, your madam principal, and your teacher, and who was also mother, Amita Kumari. And thank you, Demonstrative Learning, and thank you, Saina, for bringing this all together. And thank you for your summer.
जी थैंक यू
Thank you.
हंसते
Jai Dhani.
खेलते रहो खुश रहो हंसते खेलते रहो खुश रहो
Thank you so much. Thank you.
लॉट्स ऑफ लव टू यू जय धारी माँ जय धारी माँ हमारी ऑडियंस का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया यू मेक इट सो मीनिंगफुल फॉर अस थैंक यू ऐसे ही जुड़े रहिए थैंक यू जी हंसते खेलते रहो एंड थैंक यू टू योर स्कूल थैंक यू टू योर मम्मी डैडी थैंक यू टू ऑल योर टीचर्स और ऐसे ही रहना
Happy Independence Day. Those of you who missed the Prime Minister's speech, go back to the YouTube and listen to it. It's very vital for you because you're the one youngsters celebrating 100 years of independence 2047. So you have to plan ahead, envision ahead, dream ahead what kind of India you want of 2047. And he mentioned one thing very important where you will be falling in that category of next 5 years are critical for India. Next 5 years are very critical of this trajectory because if we work and continue to develop and grow, next 5 years, India would become world's third largest economy in the world. When you become third largest economy in the world, you will all become richer and better, wealthier, and more prosperous, more in all round prosperity, not only in wealth, but in quality of life as well, whether it's infrastructure or otherwise. But you all have a role to play. That's what he said. You have to become, and this belongs to the youth power. And you are at the critical edge 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds. You are the future. By the time you will be voting rights, next general election, not this one, you will be then making your own choices and better. Where do you take India towards? What do you choose? So it's making good choices. And the next 5 years is very, very critical. Not to be cynical, but to be positive towards the Indian growth. Make your dream, vision, draw your dream of 2047 and see where will you be, how old will you be, what would you like to be, and how would you like to constantly contribute to make a better vision for 2047. So till then, God bless you and happy Independence Day once again and Jai Hind. Jai Hind.
थैंक यू हंसते खेलते रहो जय धारी माँ हंसते खेलते रहो